Alright, I'm in Madison, Indiana, and I'm outside Dr. William Hutchings' office and museum. This is one of the best examples in the country of the horror of a 19th century doctor. So I'm gonna go check this out. Dr. William Hutchings worked in this office in the late 19th century. The building was built between 1838 and 1848, and it was a law office originally. The doctor was born in Lexington, Kentucky in 1825 and knew from the age of 6 that he wanted to be a doctor. He studied medicine at the Lexington Academy and received his diploma from the Indiana Central Medical College of Indianapolis in 1851. Those are his original diplomas on the wall. This is a cabinet of curiosities. One thing I've noticed at many similar museums is that often doctors and other people in the Victorian era would collect unusual natural history items like shells and taxidermy, and this was Dr. Hutchings' collection. What makes this place amazing is that after Hutchings died in 1903, his daughters packed everything in the office into boxes. They left everything inside when they closed the office, and everything remained inside for almost 70 years until it was saved in 1969. So almost everything is original from the office, which is rare for historic homes and buildings. This shelf is full of Hutchings' unused medicines and bottles. This is an old prosthetic leg. That is an electromagnetic machine which would shock and stimulate nerves. This is a wet cell battery used to produce currents for some mental diseases. Dr. Hutchings was very fascinated with electrotherapy and supported it. Don't let Mike Pence know about this. If Dr. Hutchings believed the patient had to stay in the office for observation or safety, he would have them stay in the second floor of the building, and they were pretty much trapped here until he said they were good or they were dead. That's an original sink and bathtub. Some creepy dolls used by children who had to stay here, possibly before some of their deaths. He was a horse and buggy doctor, which meant he would have patients here in the office, but he would also travel around in Madison and in the county if they were too sick to come to the office. Being a doctor back then was actually very difficult, and he was fairly well off for a doctor in that time. The occupation used to not be a very financially awarding occupation, and it was also a lot more dangerous. This is new. They have a second museum building and an old shotgun house built in 1840 that they had moved to this site. It is on the site of the Hutchings home that got torn down, but they do have some family furnishings and artifacts left. Hutchings' elaborate desk and bookcase. This was Dr. Hutchings' traveling medical kit and equipment. He would sometimes have to travel very long distances to patients. And this is Mikey. The story behind this is interesting. An osteopathic student assembled a skeleton in Kirksville, Missouri, but it got blown away by a tornado. Then they assembled this guy, Mike too, and he was on display in an office in Brazil, Indiana, and then he was donated to the museum. Obviously, he got a little messed up. This is an artificial leech. The metal cylinder at the end with blades could perform the same function as leeches. The blades rotated while cutting into the skin and the tube collected the blood. These are some bloodletting tools used for heroic medicine practices, which were somewhat popular in the Victorian era. That include rigorous bloodletting, purging, and sweating to shock the body back into health. That is a bone saw used for amputating large bones, and some smaller amputation knives. That thing was used as a hammer on teeth to knock them out. These are more of Hutchings' dental tools, some pliers, some tooth key claws, and a hand drill. Another one of Hutchings' instrument kits, and another reason why I'm glad to live in the 21st century. A glass breast pump and forceps. These were used in childbirths gone wrong. A guideline from the 1890s says that, quote, "Where they save one, they murder many." a portrait of Dr. Hutchings, a small medical instrument cabinet. This was an early polio brace. Polio was becoming an epidemic in the United States around the time of Hutchings' death. These are relics of the Hutchings family, mostly of his two daughters who saved all his stuff, Matilda and Lita. Those are Matilda's dresses. Some very early Lincoln logs. These were created by Frank Lloyd Wright's son. In the 1890s, Lita went out west and worked as a teacher at the St. Mary's Mission School on the Sioux Rosebud Reservation, and she brought her camera to do some photography. And brought back many Sioux crafts like moccasins and dolls. Alright, so that was a very cool museum. I especially like the new museum building. That wasn't here the last time I was here, so they did a good job with that. If you like this video, I have others here on some of the historic houses in Madison and all sorts of weird museums and attractions, so go check those out, and thanks for watching.